We're joined by Press, and we're here to show you guys today how to make a relief print.
I'm Ryan O'Malley, and this is Nick Alley, and we're going to give you the basics for the assignment that we're going to be doing with you when we come through the Visual Art and Design Academy. I guess it's going to be next week in Santa Barbara, so we're really excited. We have some tips and some techniques and tools that we're going to talk to you about here in a minute, and we'll see you over here at the pool table.
So these you guys see in front of you here are some of the tools you're going to need in order to make your relief cuts. Over here you have 3 different types of linoleum. You have a piece of safety cut here that's just a giant chunk of linoleum in and of itself, and 2 different pieces mounted onto wooden boards to get a little bit more stability. Here you have your ink that you're going to use to stain the surface of these things, so you'll be able to see where you cut. Your drawing tool, which is just Sharpie, and your power grip tools here, which come in a lot of different forms. In this case, we have these individual tools with different tips.
Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do here is prepare our drawing. There are many ways that you can create a drawing on a piece of linoleum. The Sharpie marker is the most efficient way because it creates a nice line. It's capable of drawing thin lines and thick lines. You may also use India ink and a paintbrush. You may use
Xerox machines. There's different types of materials and ways to get your imagery onto the block. So I'm going to go ahead and start a drawing here with the Sharpie. I'm just going to make this drawing like I would make a normal drawing. I'm not really thinking too much necessarily about how I might cut this thing later on, because the idea is that I should be able to translate a drawing just as efficiently from what I'm drawing here to when I cut later. Now there's a way that you can make these types of drawings where considering exactly how you're going to be carving them, and the carved marker is going to become an essential part of what we're doing here. But just for starters, I want to just draw a simple image, and I'll show you guys how to carve it out. Okay, so what I'm about to do here is I'm about to take a Sharpie marker and color in the background of this image. The idea is to present a nice contrast between what I've drawn and what's behind the image. And when I carve away all that orange, it's going to leave a white area behind, so I'll be able to see where it is that I drew. Originally we were going to do this with some of that ink that we put out to show you guys, but I wasn't sticking that safety cut quite as well as it would stick to something like linoleum.
Yeah, so the linoleum you'll be able to use thinned out acrylic and a rag. It doesn't really matter what color you use as long as it's not black. It's something that's going to add contrast so you can see where you're cutting better. Okay, as we have said earlier, these are power grip tools. You're probably going to be using a speedball version of cutting tools, but to give you an idea of the basic wood cutting set, if you want to get into doing more relief cuts in the future, power grips are very nice because they have the basic tools that you're going to need, and they're very inexpensive. You can get them from rocklertool.com and woodworkers.com, I believe. Woodcraft.com. Yeah, and so I think depending on the site that you get them from, they'll range from $26 to about $30 for a 5-piece set, which if you take care of them are going to last you for a very long time, particularly when you're cutting on linoleum. So Nick is going to first hold up the V-gouge, which is your most versatile tool. Okay, as you can see there, let me see, I want to take this from Nick. Alright, you can see that it's got a V shape, hence the name V-gouge. So this tool is used for a majority of the work that you'll be doing. It's capable of cutting very thin lines to very thick lines, and that depends on the amount of pressure that you apply to the linoleum. So Nick is going to demonstrate that very quickly. It's a little bit hard to see right here with the contrast of the camera, but these are different U-gouges. On the left hand side there's a big U-gouge, and then there's a little U-gouge on the right. So essentially these are like scoops. The big U-gouge is used mainly for clearing out large areas of material, but it also can be used to cut very specific forms. The same with the U-gouge. So the intent of all your tools is to find the best fit of the form or the line that you've drawn. So when you're getting started cutting, it's important to be seated in a very comfortable position. And as you can see from Nick, he's making all of his cuts away from his body. And also it's very important to make sure that you don't have a finger in front of that gouging tool because it will cut you. So you can see that he's using one of his hands to hold the block steady and the other hand is pushing through the material. With that V-gouge that he's using, the amount of pressure that he applies down on the tool is going to dictate the type of line that he creates. So there he is, kind of moving along with the V-gouge. It is the most versatile tool, as we said before. And basically just carving out all those areas around the drawn image that he'd made with the Sharpie. So this is kind of production mode. All the creative part has come with the original drawing, and now it's just a matter of sitting and cutting. So this is a time if you really like to listen to music or turn on the television and just kind of zone out and make get into production mode. This is a really fun part. So here Nick and I are switching to show the different cutting styles that we use, and I like to use a method, and you're going to see right here in a still frame, where I like to brace the tool against my left finger so I'm able to get a more fine cut, especially when I'm going around curves or I'm working in really intricate spaces. Just that bracing against the finger enables me to do that. And now what you're also seeing is me using the U-gouges to cut along the edges of the teeth, and now the V-gouge to cut along the lines in the shadows. And here I'm actually taking the U-gouge to clear out those larger areas of material from the linoleum. And okay, we're done cutting. Time to go proof.
So what I'm about to do here is to lay out a slab. And that means I'm going to take ink and drag it across the surface of this plexiglass here. And I'm going to do two nice thin lines like that. And then I'm going to grab a brayer and roll it across that ink. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to get a nice thin coating of ink over the whole brayer. So you guys see how I pick up there as I move along? That's like get an uneven coat. So as I pick it up, I'm not being consistent and it's allowing the whole brayer to get covered. So I'm not just moving back and forth across half of it. I want this ink slab to look kind of like an orange peel. I want that same kind of orange peel texture to be on the brayer. So I tend to take that brayer over to the block. That block can get that same texture. I know I have enough ink on it. So you can go back and forth across the block this way, but it's also important to make sure that you change up and hit the block from different angles. So that's maybe going horizontal and then vertical. You can also go diagonal across the surface of the block as well. What I want is, here's me charging the brayer here, which is why that table's all shaky, to make sure I have more ink. So I get this surface nice and covered for when I finally want to run it through the press and print it up.
So now we've taken the block to the press. So the relief block goes down first, and excuse our dirty printmaker method of registration here. We're just laying the piece of paper on top. And then you're going to either take a piece of cardboard or masonite, and what we have here is a blanket, something that is going to act as a buffer between the roller of the press, the paper, and your block.
Looks like we're ready to crank it through.
Alright, let's do it, Nick. So Nick is turning the press, turning the wheel, and now it's engaged and it's going through. You see that my hand is very close, it's holding down the block. You're not going to be doing that because if your fingers go through there, they're going to burst like a hot dog in a microwave.
It's time for the magic, my favorite part.
Ta-da!
It's amazing.
Oh, we have a print. Look at that.
That's power.
That's the power of printmaking.
So in conclusion, you guys, remember this. Printmaking is magic.